Timothy Kaldas joins me now here in our Istanbul studio. He's a non-resident fellow at the Tahrir Institute for Middle East Policy, a nonprofit organization based in Washington. Thank you for joining me today. This new city that will open less than a year from now, is it enough to solve Cairo's problems? We have the congestion, unemployment, dwindling water supply. Will this city be the answer?
No, I don't think that that's a realistic expectation of any single project. The goal is to relieve congestion by moving government entities over to the new capital, because currently everyone in Egypt basically has to pass through Cairo to process paperwork and to do anything that involves their relationship with the government. And there's a lot of bureaucracy, so there's quite a lot of traffic for that reason. So the theory is that by moving those institutions to another place, it'll relieve the congestion in Cairo a bit. But there's a variety of other things that have to happen. There has to be more infrastructure for public transportation, better organization of the movement of vehicles, and other projects that can help kind of organize things better in Cairo so that the city moves more efficiently and works more efficiently. And arguably, it would be better if they just spread things out all over the country instead of drawing everyone to a single place.
Okay, how will Egypt get people to move to the new city? It wants to have some 5 million, 7 million people living there, but I mean, how do you encourage 5 million people to move their homes to a new city?
Well, I think initially they're going to be forcing public bureaucrats to move there. So by moving most of the ministries to the new capital, they'll be working to move the staff there as well. They've also been lobbying for diplomats to move there, for embassies to move there, trying to make it a kind of political capital for the country. From diplomats I've spoken to, there's a bit of reluctance to make that move, and a lot of people have explored or considered the possibility of having a satellite office in the new capital, but maintaining their main diplomatic outpost in Cairo itself. That's likely to at least be the state of things for the next decade or so. That's part of the project. But I mean, in general, new capitals across the globe have had this challenge of convincing people that they're a desirable place to live. Whether it's in Brasilia or the capital in Myanmar, these projects run into that problem pretty consistently. I'm not sure how they're going to overcome that.
So what happens then to the old city once the new capital is open for business, in the short term and then in the long term?
Well, I mean, the fear is that with the movement of all of the political interests and financial interests to a new capital, if the government's plan actually succeeds in that respect, that you see a drawing of resources out of the capital that is most inhabited in the country, right? So Cairo holds currently over 20 million people in official and unofficial housing. And so there's a fear that there might be neglect. I mean, the problem that we have already in Egypt is that there's lots of cities that need development, that need investment, that need more financial activity, more economic opportunity that the government hasn't invested in the way that they should. And I think this idea of, rather than decentralizing, which is what many of us have been advocating, moving towards re-centralizing in a new place, we actually are just repeating the problem that made Cairo the trouble that it is right now, and has also drained many of the country's other cities of both resources and population. I mean, the reason that there's so much urban migration in Egypt to Cairo is because all of the money, all of the government interests are concentrated in this one place. And so to find work and to find a viable livelihood in Asyut, in Aswan, in Tanta, and all the other cities throughout the country is much more difficult. And so you find people coming to Cairo seeking that. And so if we just move that reality to a new place, we're only recreating that problem rather than solving it.
All right, Timothy Kaldas, thank you for joining me today.
My pleasure.